Hey everybody, this is Scatter. You might remember me from way back in the Zodiac days. Be sure and check us out. We're going to be here every day from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. It's old school with Scatter. Scatter's back. Check me out on the internet, KUAW.org. For all you Paseo Central Manulite people, I want you to remember that in the 60s and the 70s, we had some good music. If you want to hear some of the Temptations, some of Smokey Robinson, some of the Tim Freed, things that you don't get every day, DJ Scatter remembers he's going to have it for you.
Bank of Blue Valley is a proud sponsor of KUAW Radio. At Bank of Blue Valley, we believe that an understanding of financial value sets individuals up for a strong future. Whether you want to talk about checking and savings accounts, review lending alternatives, or discuss starting your own business, we have the right people to listen and advise. Visit us at bankbv.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to 98.5. This is KUAW, Kansas City, Missouri. Glad you're listening. Keep tuning to the new voice in Kansas City.
Hi, my name is Felania Johnson, and I'm a freshman at Purcell Academy of Fine and Performing Arts.
My name is Mayan Charity, and I'm a 7th grader at Lincoln College Preparatory.
STEM is a program about science, technology, engineering, and math. More girls our age should get more involved in the program because there's a shortage of black girls in STEM.
African American women make up just 2% of engineers. Roughly 1/3 of students of color express an interest in STEM. Most black women think that STEM is too challenging. We are sisters in STEM, and we are encouraging young black teens to join STEM.
If you're interested in more information, please contact Ina Montgomery at 816-866-6340.
Tycon Company, LLC, specializes in a wide range of construction services, which includes the removal and replacement of concrete curbs, sidewalk, driveway, and paving. They pride themselves in the quality of their service, but more importantly, with the quickness in which they provide those services. Their primary goal and objective is to achieve 100% customer satisfaction, and they won't settle for anything less. Their crews travel within a 100-mile radius of the Kansas City, Missouri metropolitan area, which includes cities on both sides of the Kansas and Missouri state line. Tycon Company, LLC, 4435 Prospect Avenue, Kansas City, Missouri, 64130, 816-921-0473. Tycon Company, LLC, quality with quickness. Proud sponsor of Wake Up KC.
This is Quentin Lucas, speaking on behalf of KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. Make sure that you gain that knowledge listening to this station and following us on Facebook Live. KUAW, making sure our community...
Hi. Woo, I had to take a breath. Hey, you're listening to The Truth Be Told with myself, T-Baby, here on KUAW. That's Kansas City's Global Community Radio Station. If you have a business or an event that you would like sponsor here on KUAW, make sure to send us an email at kuaw985@gmail.com. You can call in anytime during this live broadcast at 816-599-6893. That number is scrolling at the top of your screen. So anytime during this next hour you want to call in, please feel free. I would love for you to. We are available 24/7 on the World Wide Web. That's www.kuaw.org. If you're watching me live on Facebook, hey, or YouTube. I always got to throw me forgetting we go live on YouTube too. But our Facebook page is KUAW-LPFM 98.5. YouTube, KUAW Radio. Make sure to like and subscribe and to share those pages with your family and friends so that they can witness the great content that we have here at KUAW. We are available on all social media networks, so Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, TuneIn, just KUAW. And yeah, we are a listener sponsored station, so you can donate to us at any one of those social media avenues, or the website, or Facebook. Okay, so of course we need to start it off with, how about those Chiefs? We know the Chiefs won yesterday in Buffalo. I know a lot of people were kind of bummed because the game started at 4 o'clock. Most of us, like myself, are at work at that time. But I was in the break room, like, let me turn on the game real quick, see what's going on. But yeah, so we did pull it off. They did great, good. Islam to everyone. This is meeting of great minds. Oh, hi, Islam. So yeah, they did good, pulled it off. They had the running game together. It was a nice game. I enjoyed watching it. Yeah, so congratulations to them. But it's a lot of things going on, y'all. It's a lot of things going on that we need to talk about. First I want to talk about Kansas City, because Chiefs ain't beat my Raiders. Oh, that was just one game. We'll see them in November. That's okay. We just needed to get that loss out the way anyway. So we not worried about no Raiders for real. Trust and believe that. Like I said, we'll see them in November. But on their own turf. It seems like we like beating people at their own turf. Anyway, Kansas City, we are at 153 homicides to date. And that probably don't even include if anything didn't happen today or whatever. But it's one of the highest numbers that we have been at since 1993. I believe that's the last time that we had a homicide rate this high. And what's crazy is that we still have 2 months and what's today? 20 days, 2 months and 11 days in this year. Like, it's ridiculous. And so it's crazy because it's like the show before me, Street Therapy. Y'all should check it out. Comes on 2 hours before my show, huh? 4 hour on the 4 o'clock hour. With Chris. Shout out to him. But so he had this paper here, and I was like, it just goes along with it. So it gave me some more to go on this topic, because when you look at the breakdown of these murders, like they tell you how many of them have been solved. Of course, we know that percentage is low. They have 3 different lines of how they really say the same thing regarding it being solved. But I'm looking at more so of the reasoning. They have an area that says like the contributing factor to the murder. Argument is 40 of the 153. Now, we talked about conflict resolution last week. We talked about the lack of conflict resolution amongst our people. And I want to delve deeper into this, because when you look at the victim and suspect ratio, and you look at Asiatic men, is 94 victims, which is 61% of the total, 109 suspect, which is 60% of the total. The age range is from 17 to 34. You have more than half of the percentage of the victims and the suspects, and they both lead in those same columns with the age range 17 to 24 and then 25 to 34, right? So we're looking at the age range of 17 years old and 34-year-old Asiatic males are the highest rate in victims and suspect of 153 crimes. 40 of those crimes behind an argument, right? Like, just let this sit in. And because we have to understand, these are the type of things that we have to look at. When I talk about we have to take accountability for our own nation of people to make sure that we are persevering our lives, our future generations, taking care of ourselves and not depending on someone else to take care of us. We have to look at these sometimes hard issues or hard things to face and figure out a solution to what it is that we need to do to change this around. Hold on. It says everyone is higher than their average in homicides. We are failing at being human beings right now. And yes, and that's exactly what this is exactly what I'm trying to bring out, because part of that is a victimized mentality that a lot of our people have. A part of that is depending on someone else, or depending on, I'm just gonna say it, your oppressor, to take care of you or to teach you, or to educate you, to take care of you financially, to feed you, like to house you, every single thing, and we have to learn where it is that we are going wrong. you know? And so, again, 40 of these were caused by anger. We talked about conflict resolution. Why don't our men know conflict resolution? We have to look at, we talked about the subconscious and the conscious program. We talked about the subconscious, which is your autopilot, being programmed between the last trimester in the womb and the first 7 years of life. Right? If you don't learn conflict resolution in this time frame as a young man, right, then you grow up to be in this 17 to 35 year or 34 age range where you're leading in homicides and over arguments. You know, like just the violence, and we have to look at a lot of that. Some people say it's because of like the idea of where we get to whooping our children, right? Especially with little boys. And and it's crazy because when I look at this, it's like I clearly see it, and we have to understand. That's why I say when people are so involved in these churches and organized religion and even nonprofits and everything like this, parenting classes, like there is should be a village to help with this, because a lot of times you have children raising children. We should start building systems within the systems to correct ourselves. Exactly. That's what it is taking accountability for what it is that's going on and not looking for someone else to fix it. And when I say parenting classes, it's because we have a younger generation that are having children. And so these younger generations of children, they're children raising children. They think things are funny. They're putting them in front of TVs. They're not really teaching them. And like I said, and they don't even know how to handle the, you know, what it is that they really create. When you think about discipline amongst amongst youth males, you know, they get a lot of whoopings. You know, we didn't seen it on TV. There was a video going around of this lady that went up to the school, and I really think that she lost her children after this video went viral. But she was like beating him, calling him the N-word, talking degrading to him, and all this that you're putting into their subconscious at a young age, and then they grow up in this age group, and we find ourselves looking at being at the highest rate of numbers of homicides in the middle of October, with our men being on the losing end of both sides. Our children, you know, these are people that, you know, I don't even know if I really even found myself till 30, if I'm really even found now. So you thinking about 17 to 34, why is that? Why is that? What cycles is it that we need to break? I think another one of those, besides the discipline and the whoopings, we need to find other constructive ways to discipline our children. And if really the thing about it is if you instill the right values and morals in them in certain ages, between those early stages of 1 and 2 and 3, you don't have so much conflict once they get 7 and 8 and 9. You know, because it all builds off each other. Children are being killed so that time in the future those souls are supposed to occupy is not going to be there. So we let in the future be destroyed in front of us. And to see another thing, one thing about truth, I guess, in the aspect of death, you know, and even karma. Like I never go to the point of where I want to question God. I don't go to the ideal of why is this happening, or even to the extent of saying that it shouldn't be happening. But when you look at key factors like these murders being committed over argument, you know what that consists of. Like I said, conflict resolution, not knowing how to properly handle your emotions. I feel like that's another thing that we do with young males, because we teach them to suppress their emotions. You know, to don't act like a girl. Boys not supposed to cry. Yada yada yada. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, get up, don't be. You know, however, the type of things, and they learn to suppress their emotions to where they don't know how to deal with their emotions, because anger is an emotion. Let's just be real. Anger is an emotion. And I don't care if it's love, sadness, anger, whatever. You know what I'm saying? When you're a little boy, it's certain things that we implement in the subconsciousness of these young men that are causing them to grow up and be the leading cause on both ends of the stick in this age group. Let's look at another one. 10 of them domestic violence. That's another thing that's been going on a lot in the media right now. They're just saying within the last month there was 4 cases of domestic violence where men just straight out murdered their wives. They have children and everything. So now the children are the ones who really lose in this situation because they would get put in a foster care system if it's not someone strong enough or willing to step up and take care of them. All because of what is domestic violence? Conflict resolution. You know what I'm saying? Again, it all goes back. It's going back to this same thing. And it's crazy that, I was talking about this like 2 weeks ago or a week ago. I really feel like I've been talking about it for a month straight. You know what I'm saying? But it's just what's been on my soul to talk about because it's just real and we see it every day, on social media and things like that. And then when you looking at these numbers, like this is just ridiculous. This breaks my heart to sit up here and look at these numbers and see how much of our people and how we are just disintegrating and how we are killing ourselves. How we are destroying ourselves. We're destroying our own families. We're destroying the lives of our children coming up, of future generations by our actions that we are taking today, all because we haven't been taught to know thyself. You know what I'm saying? We've been taught so much BS, like just we've been taught so much BS that's like in our subconscious and our autopilot that we're just acting like a species of animals or something that is being controlled by some other thing. And when really we are supposed to be out here controlling ourselves and creating our own realities, and that goes with controlling your emotions. That's really the thing that is kind of key. Because your emotions are of your physical, that's of your human self. You know what I'm saying? Like those are human characteristics. That is carnal self. If you're a spirit and you're a soul and you know that there's a power that dwells inside of you that can no one control but you, like when you learn how to deal with your emotions properly and not killing each other and not fighting each other and not arguing, learn when to say okay, learn when to agree to disagree. That's one thing that's so important. It's to learning when to agree to disagree, because everyone is not going to think the same way. We all have our own individual minds, our own individual lives that filter what it is that we go through, how we react to different things and everything like that. We are all individuals in that sense. So no, everyone is definitely not going to agree to everything that you say. You have to learn to agree to disagree and let it be that. But the thing about it is people only understand to the level of their perception. Self-genocide, that's exactly what it is. It's self-genocide. And the thing about it is we got self-genocide, we got the European putting the genocide on us, we got the people that come on now, how we ever gonna, like, what is it that we think that we're gonna be? How much longer do we think we can keep going along in this same cycle and still be able to flourish and still be able to take back over what's ours? And that thing about it is, we say, why we in the position that we in, look at our people. You know what I'm saying? These type of people can't be running no country. The country will be in chaos. We can't even build the people, the generations up to what we need to be for them to even come into some stuff to be able to continue in things that we could get ourselves where we know we need to be or where we should be. We can't even do that because of the just crazy stuff like arguments and 11 robberies, theft, all lower self stuff, murder, hatred, lewdness, theft, everything that harms. All this stuff is just lower self stuff. And the thing about it is people don't even recognize, maybe that's what people don't even recognize that, people don't even recognize that you have a higher self and a lower self. We've been taught this concept of the angel and the devil. You see these when they used to have the cartoon shows and they had the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder, and you got to choose which one to listen to or whatever. That was an outward reflection of what's inside of you. You have two selves. You have a higher self and a lower self. Then you have a conscience. That's them telling you what you need to do. It depends on what you listen to. Which one are you susceptible to that you're going to follow and things like that. And obviously we're losing at this because it's like we're not even aware of it. We're not even conscious of the fight. We're not even conscious of the self war that we have going on inside of us. to even be able to focus in on the outside war that's being attacking us for I don't know how long. You know, it's like let's see. Okay, so children are gonna you take something artificial and put in something natural. I don't know what that was in reference to, but so yeah, I mean, it's crazy, and hopefully we can turn it around. Hopefully that, you know, someone I mean, there's a lot of mentorship groups on there. There's a lot of, you know, it's just some different things that we can do, and hopefully that it just, you know, comes around and turns itself around. Okay, so another thing that we need to talk about. Oh, goodness gracious. So Ice Cube. Let's talk about Ice Cube real quick, because there's a lot of people, our people, while we're talking about conflict resolution and talking about agreeing to disagree. That's another thing when it comes to the election too. It's like it's the game banging, you know what I'm saying? The Democrat versus the Republican, the red versus the blue, and everything like that, or whatever. When really we need to be looking at, I don't care what you represent. I'm trying to say what you represent for the people, and I feel like that's where Ice Cube was coming from, and you got a lot of people mad at him. And the thing about our people is we're so quick to judge each other, and I don't even feel like that we have all of the facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, they put it out that he met with Trump's administration, but like he said, he sent the invitation to both. He said that Joe Biden and him was like, okay, after we get elected, we'll come back and talk about it and discuss it. And the Republicans was like, okay, well, let's discuss it right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can come up with. What's wrong with that? Why would someone have a problem with that? It's just, why are we turning on each other in a sense of letting, again, our oppressors control what it is that we're doing, these emotions that we feel towards each other, that we have towards each other, which affect the conversations that we have with each other, and we're letting them control our mind, and we're taking away from actually doing the things that we need to do because we're focused on the wrong things, if that makes sense. Like, the news media, all this propaganda and things like that. My thing of it is, I'm not going to tell no one who to vote for. A lot of people don't even think that you should vote. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing. It's like, and we have to learn how to agree to disagree on that. A lot of people don't even feel like that voting is important. So then it's like, if you're one of those people, it's like, why do you even have anything to say about who the man meeting with anyway? When a lot of them encourage people not to vote. Cube was making a point of what we haven't done as a people. We're just giving out a vote without making them earn it. And see, my thing of it is, a lot of people don't know, y'all know that I'm a Moorish American, and back in the day, you know, they say that when we weren't voting, that's a whole nother story. But Moorish Americans were voting. I mean, you can look up in history. There's always been a record of free Moors, and they were voting, right? And they say the politicians used to come to the temples to, you know, say they point, like, why they need to vote for us. Like, the thing about it is, we got to understand that these people work for us, so they should have to come to us or whatever, and they should have to speak with us when we are a predominant people in this country. Things don't really run without us in this country, so you need to have a voice in the things that are going on, whether, even if you're not in control, if you're not in total power, I guess how a lot of people feel, but at the end of the day, you still have to give your input and make sure that your voice is heard. And that's what and that's how I feel on voting. And y'all know, really, voting to me is really, you know, the federal is more for the local voting and state voting than it is the federal, in my eyes, are like president, you know, because when you sit up here and when they sit up here and tell you that you got to choose the lesser of two evils, come on now. No, I don't. I don't have to choose. I don't have to choose nobody. Like, I know I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, if I'm gonna be dealing with evil or evil either way, then why does it matter which evil is in office? Like, if it's just gonna be evil, it's just gonna be evil. At the end of the day, I don't want to tell nobody what to do or say. But if you have an opinion, go let your opinion be heard. Go let your voice be heard. Just at least go vote. And then I've been seeing a lot of people saying that they are public servants, not the other way around. That's definitely true. People don't understand that goes into understanding the Constitution. That goes understanding to where you fit in the Constitution, which another thing that we kind of was talking about, even just claiming this whole black thing, even with Black Lives Matter and, you know what I'm saying, everything like that or whatever. And it's like, when you look at black in the Constitution, y'all didn't heard me say it before, black is a status. It's not something that you really want to be. It's not something that you should be proud of, like anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a nationality. You know, so it really doesn't tie you to anything besides this lower class citizen in the Constitution. My thing of it is a lot of people like to intertwine a lot of different things. Like, they want to intertwine culture and everything like that. No, we're talking about law, and we're talking about the law of the land. And that's the difference. You have to be able to put aside your feelings about how you feel about culture and how you feel about, your people and solid and all that kind of stuff or whatever, when you're thinking in terms of law and the law. And so when we sit up here and claim it to be these lower class citizens according to law, and we're calling ourselves that mentally, we know that words, it goes back into everything that they told you was witchcraft and everything like that, but it's called spelling for a reason. We know that words are more than just words. Like, you speak things into the atmosphere, like they have an energy attached to them, and with every word that you speak. So if you're sitting around calling yourself black and all this other kind of stuff, thinking in the eyes of the law, again, we're in the perception of the law, and you're calling yourself under this lower class citizen, that's why we see these numbers so high in these murders, and that's how we feel like you see all these rallies and police killings and everything like that, because we're thinking as the lesser, we're thinking as the lower class citizen, we're calling ourselves the lower class citizen, we're claiming to be the lower class citizen. So at the end of the day, that's what life reflects. Until we understand this in terms of law. And again, I'm just talking about understanding the Constitution of the United States. You have people that say they want to be sovereign and they're not a citizen or anything like that, but I'm not going to take away from the United States. No matter who controls it, the United States is really one of the best countries that you're going to be living in. The United States is only the one where you can really have a nation inside of a nation. You know what I'm saying? Where you can really be yourself and do what it is what it is that you want to do. It's just the wrong people in control of it, and they running it into the ground. But it's always been a great country, and it ain't even just the United States. It's really North America. This used to be one of the biggest and richest empires in the world. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we can't turn away from that. And if you just follow, not necessarily just follow the law, I'm not saying that or whatever, but I'm just saying understand it. Understand your place in it, and then use it to your benefit. Use it to, to make sure that we can avoid all these type of, and not saying that we're going to avoid all racism, because you still have Europeans that their mindsets and their spirits are really just different and stuck in kind of old ways and stuck in old time frames or whatever. And I really think eventually they'll die off. That's what you would, I don't want to necessarily say pray for, but that's what you would logically think. You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually they'll get up there. We get to a point. It's time, Brother Johnson Bay. We'll get to a point where they are no longer there. That's why I think that we need to get more involved in law to change the terms of the Senate. You should not be able to have a lifetime seat on the Senate. You should have a 4 to 5 year period, just as the president has. I know the president only has 4, y'all, and he can run for a second term, so he has 8. But even if we wanted to make the number 10, you know what I'm saying? Like, it should be a cap. You should not be able to be 80 years old still holding a seat on the Senate with this old Jim Crow mindset. And then that's when we see these numbers the way that we do. That's why we see the prisons filled the way that they are, because of the people that we are allowing to be that's still stuck in this Jim Crow mindset. And those are the type of things that we need to be looking at on these ballots. We need to be looking at these senators. We need to be voting these representatives out. We need to be voting these judges. You know what I'm saying? These judges that's sitting on these bitch. We need to pay attention to those type of things. We get distracted by this clown show of a presidential race when everybody knows the president don't really have that much power. You know what I'm saying? You learn that in American government in school. You know that the president is checked by checks and balances by the other branches of the government. So why leave those blindly, letting them just do what they want to do? No, we focused on the wrong thing. They distract us, but that's what they distract us with. All these debates and stuff, and all these memes and COVID and all this Twitter and all this BS that don't really have nothing to do with how your day is going to be affected tomorrow. You know, and then they was talking about, okay, so let's see, only because the indigenous people allowed it, but forget who were in the grand scheme of things. I'm not going to say only because the indigenous people allowed it, because at the end of the day, if you outnumbered, you outnumbered, you know. And then, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't say what happened or whatever, but I don't even understand how, I don't even gonna get into that, because if you know the story, like, I don't know how to, Britain got control, and then we had to get with the Boston Tea Party and had to get our independence from them. I don't even understand how that happened. You know what I'm saying? But whatever, it is what it is. It's like when you got money and power and the fall of a people and a rise of people, those things turn. In history, we know how the cycle goes, and that's really what we should be preparing for. That's like really what we should be preparing our future generations for, because if you study history, there's always a cycle and how it goes. You up, you down, you up, you down, just depending on how yeah. But yeah, because when they say, then they said they came, I don't know, you know how the story goes. Different people said, oh, let's see, it's not the age, but like you said, European mindset. In the Moorish culture, we show honor to our elders. Does that make sense to you? Exactly. It's like people don't even, it's even if we think about the relationship, how earlier I was talking about, it takes a village, we don't even have the same type of village of like where your children could go to the grandma's house and have sleepovers with your cousins and everything like that or whatever, and just the family commodity that you just remember. I remember as a child, just like I know on the weekend I'm about to go to grandma's house, we about to have fun, she gonna cook some cream of wheat, my cousin's gonna be over there, it's gonna be lit. You know what I'm saying? Grandma's so young these days, they still trying to club and all kind of stuff. They ain't trying to sit at home and have no cousin sleepovers at their house. It's like the mindset of our people has changed, and since the mindset of our people are changed, the reality of our people is changing. And if we don't recognize it and do something about it, then it's just going to continue in a downward spiral. Just like Mr. Tyson said, it's self-genocide. Women, and when we talk, I gotta go on break. Goodness, I just be getting into it, but I addressed this last comment and we'll move on and stuff after break. So bear with me and I'll be right back.
Hey everybody, this is Scatter. You might remember me from way back in the Zodiac days. Be sure and check us out. We're going to be here every day from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. It's Old School with Scatter. Scatter's back. Check me out on the internet, KUAW.org. For all you Paseo Central Manulite people, want you to remember that in the 60s and the 70s, we had some good music. If you want to hear some of the Temptations, some of Smokey Robinson, some of the Tim Free, things that you don't get every day, DJ Scatter remembers he's going to have it for you.
Bank of Blue Valley is a proud sponsor of KUAW Radio. At Bank of Blue Valley, we believe that an understanding of financial value sets individuals up for a strong future. Whether you want to talk about checking and savings accounts, review lending alternatives, or discuss starting your own business, we have the right people to listen and advise. Visit us at bankbv.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to 98.5. This is KUAW, Kansas City, Missouri. Glad you're listening. Keep tuning to the new voice in Kansas City.
Hi, my name is Felania Johnson, and I'm a freshman at Purcell Academy of Fine and Performing Arts.
My name is Mayan Charity, and I'm a 7th grader at Lincoln College Preparatory.
STEM is a program about science, technology, engineering, and math. More girls our age should get more involved in the program because there's a shortage of black girls in STEM.
African American women make up just 2% of engineers. Roughly 1/3 of students of color express an interest in STEM. Most black women think that STEM is too challenging. We are sisters in STEM, and we are encouraging young black teens to join STEM.
If you're interested in more information, please contact Ina Montgomery at 816-866-6340.
Tycon Company, LLC, specializes in a wide range of construction services, which includes the removal and replacement of concrete curbs, sidewalk, driveway, and paving.
Alrighty, and we are back. I appreciate you guys bearing with me. So we got some sponsorships out the way. Again, if you have an event or a business that you would like advertised here on KUAW, make sure to send us an email at kuaw985@gmail.com. And yeah, so I'm trying to think of what it is. Y'all know I like to kind of switch gears. Second half of the show that kind of deals with the relationships in a sense that we have, and I want to talk about particularly a situation that happened with Ayesha Curry, right? And so Ayesha Curry, if y'all don't know, that's Steph Curry's wife. She posted a picture where she had like a Snapchat filter that made her eyes lighter. She had on a blonde wig, you know what I'm saying, on her head or whatever. And so it was a lot of backlash over this picture. A lot of people said that she was trying to look European. A lot of people said, and you have men, and see, here's the thing. This is really what I want to highlight, is how it kind of turns this, programming that we have kind of turns us against each other in our relationships, and how it you know, kind of manipulates our minds, because you had a lot of men saying that women that, you know, wear weave and wear like makeup and, you know, all those kind of good stuff have low self-esteem. They want to be a European. Like, you hear this a lot. You hear a lot of things. And then on the flip side, you have women that say we could do whatever we want. You know, I look good, whatever. And but it causes this tension amongst our own nation of people, right? Because they're going back and forth. And then it's another thing that I wanted to talk about as well with that, because it's the same thing. See, I put it in the same category as there's this post, right? And it was this post about I wonder if I can find it real quick. It might be too far back. But it was saying that men shouldn't have a valid opinion over certain things when it comes to women, i.e. like abortions, birth control, breastfeeding, it was a couple of other things, feminine hygiene products, like it was a couple of other things on there. And so then you had this man saying that they're saying that men don't have a valid point or a valid opinion on these type of things because it doesn't affect the male's body. And my whole thing of it is, and I put the hair and the makeup in this ideal of what a woman is supposed to look like, because one thing, if you're knowledgeable of our people, you know that we come in all shapes, forms, and fine. You got our people over in Australia, blonde hair, blue eyes, like we carry a gene where we can birth any nation of people. Like, we are the only woman made on earth that could do this. You know what I'm saying? saying? So you can never tell a woman what she looks like is trying to look like someone else just because you have been programmed to think that for some reason everyone wants to be a European, or if I straighten my hair that I want to look like Becky. Like, no, I just want to straighten my hair. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, if I want to put on a wig or if I want to wear makeup, like, and then the thing about it is, what's crazy is you have men that attack women over these things over social media all the time, you know, especially within the quote unquote conscious community, right? They attack women about these things all the time or whatever, and always at ends with each other. But then on the other hand, you got these people that are making songs, or when you see the women that are in relationships and feel like that they, you know, kind of the things that women yearn for, the marriage and everything like that, it's a certain type of woman at the way that this looks. So on one hand, you're praising this and you're saying another thing on this, but I don't want my woman like that. Like, what kind of stuff is that? Like, that type of things, it keeps us at odds with each other, you know, and we need to realize that it's not about what's on the outside, period. You know what I'm saying? Because the outside is not what raises your children. I always go back to raising your children because that's what preserves our nation. Like, that's what fuels the future generations or whatever. And how someone looks is not gonna, you know, develop or mold your children to not grow up to be in this freaking over half percentage of the homicides in a city, you know? And so going back on the meme or whatever in the conversation that was saying, when it comes to like abortions and things like that, and I know this is a kind of a hard topic kind of to talk about it or whatever, and I'm personally am pro-choice. Like, I feel like a woman should do whatever it is that she wants to do, because when you look at people who have children that they do not want, and you look at the foster care system and the type of people that take in these type of children, that's not really the best place for them. When you look at all these documentaries, all these children coming up missing, parents killing their own children, just like the man that wouldn't bust his window to save his 1-year-old daughter on his car, to bust the window on his car to save his 1-year-old daughter who was locked inside of the car. You know, like those type of people, like as a parent, how could you do that? That you could have never really wanted that child. Not saying that she would have been better off aborted, but at the end of the day, when you sit up here and try to control these type of things or whatever, then it just doesn't make any sense, because there's a lot of different other reasons beyond child abuse and child neglect and everything like that a woman could make that decision. And you would say that if you don't want to have a baby, then you should not engage in things that cause you to have, in activities that cause you to have a baby. Well, when you look at the day and age and what's promoted on TV and what's talked about amongst each other, probably what they're seeing amongst their own household, what they see on TV and everything like that, you really cannot just skip over that fact and think that it's gonna be like back in the day and times when people were waiting till marriage or really took pride in, you know, purity, especially when or purity, virginity, I don't know how to say it, but you know what I'm saying? You got women out here that dress half naked. They dressing their babies half naked. The Netflix getting sued right now for sexualizing children with the Little Cuties movie. Like, sexualization of children is everywhere, and you cannot just think that they're not going to be influenced some way, somehow, to want to engage in those type of activities. So why keep talking about something that you wish for it to happen, or when you can really kind of control the narrative? And if I embrace this and teach it the way that it is to be taught and how it's supposed to be doing it, they will have a better mindset and grasp over what it is that they should be doing. But that's a totally different episode, I know. But so anyway, and then like whether you can breastfeed in public and everything. And now really this meme was coming to me, it was kind of like talking about lawmakers, right? You got this group of European men that age between the ages of probably 30, that's really too young, 45 to 70 years old, sitting up in this room trying to make all these decisions about things that do not affect them. Like, as a woman, when I say it doesn't affect the male body, like, okay, they say that a man, because the one thing that he was saying, like, if you saying that if you get pregnant by a man, that his opinion doesn't matter. No one is saying that. But however, when you look at statistics, right? If a man, I can be pregnant. I like the idea of seeing me pregnant and all this other kind of stuff or whatever. And yeah, you want this child, da 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 da. Soon as I had a baby, you can bounce out and nobody will say nothing. And then a woman is just stuck. At the end of the day, even the activity of birthing the child is a risk on me. Is carrying the child is a risk on the woman's body. Birthing the child is a death risk every time, especially amongst our women, especially if they still having babies in the hospitals. Like, come on now, our women are the number one women that die amongst childbirth. And y'all can look that up. Like, at the end of the day, it's a different type of take on what it is what it consists of to bring a child into this world. Not saying that a man's opinion should not matter, but I'm just saying that's why we have to, again, it goes back to the values that we're instilling, whether it's coming from broken homes, our families, like those type of things matter. If we're just creating more broken homes, children have the tendency to repeat what they were around when they grew up. So it's like, if you have these broken homes, they're probably going to continue to just go out and create broken homes, and so and to me, that's like the number one factor really right there. And so yeah, and and we know that our women are amongst the highest in single women. And you got to think about, too, is that kind of the cause? Does that feed into the cause? Y'all know I like to bring it back full circle. So it's like, does that feed into the cause of this age group, 17-34, Asiatic men being 61% and 61% of the victims and 60% of the suspects for the murders that have taken place in Kansas City so far? The idea is like, maybe because we know our women are also amongst the highest of single mothers raising these young men too. And the thing of not saying that a woman can't raise a man, which a lot of people say that they can't, I do feel like our young boys need male influencers, whether it's a father, whether it's an uncle, whether it's a coach, whether it's a teacher. I feel like they do need some type of positive male influence in their lives, just to flourish in life. So I don't know, but those are the type of things that go back into the factors, and then that goes back into the ideal of what it is that we see to want to be in relationships with each other too, as well as how we speak to each other. Because it's like, if you have a daughter and you speak to her mother in a certain manner in front of her, or just around her on the phone, if she see a certain way that you treat women, you know what I'm saying? Like, we think children don't pick up on these things, but it does. Even if they don't act on it, it's in their subconscious. It's still building that subconscious. It's still building that hardware, whether you realize it or not. So our actions and everything that we do affect how they're gonna be looking at themselves when they grow up as well, and what they're gonna be looking for in these women, or whether they're gonna be a woman that does have low self-esteem, that will try to do anything to get male attention. You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing amongst our women. They do a lot of things for attention. You got all these twerk videos and getting half naked, and it's like really not having no type of self-respect for themselves because of all what they think. But the thing about it is, it goes full circles, the yin and the yin and the yang, because they're doing this because they feel like this is what's gonna get them a man or a husband, or you know what I'm saying, something like that. They daughters growing up thinking this is what you got to do to obtain a husband or get married and stuff like that or whatever, because we know that young girls are kind of programmed to go that path in life. And that's a whole nother thing too. It's like we teach girls to grow up to want to be wives and mothers, but we don't teach boys to grow up to want to be husbands and fathers. We teach them to want to be pimping rappers or athletes, cheating athletes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole different concept of how we raise a woman, a girl and a boy, coming up. And it all goes into adulthood too. And then it's like I said, it's full circle. This is what they seeing. So now if you have all these broken homes raising these young men, by the time they get 17, They all carrying what is about 76 handguns, 50 unknown handguns, 13 rifles. Like, all of it is guns. You know what I'm saying? They're solving 40 of them is anger. So they didn't solve 40 arguments with a gun. Domestic violence with a gun, robbery with a gun. Like, there's just, when we and it just, like I said, it just goes back to taking a look in the mirror, you know, like as our own people, because this stuff goes back full circle. This stuff it all comes back to affect at some point in time in the circle of life. Really, I don't not mean to be quoting the Lion King, but really in the circle of life, you know what I'm saying? Because these things follow you into young adulthood, into adulthood. So now these domestic violence cases, I can't even really it's like you're not even teaching your boys not to hit women anymore. The community broken, and it shows in the issues. It does. And then it's like we're looking for someone else to fix them, and then we're getting mad at the people who are trying to fix it, like Ice Cube or Snoop Dogg or whoever y'all else want to say. Even Kanye. Shoot, I mean, people might not like Kanye or whatever, but at least Kanye involved. You know what I'm saying? At least he's trying to do something. You know, he might be crazy for doing it, but shoot, at least he like, shoot, let me put my foot in the race, my oar in the water, something. You know what I'm saying? But all we do is tear everybody down, tear our own down, and then look for someone else, our oppressor. I keep saying someone else, but we know who it is, our oppressor, to fix us, to give us the tools necessary to fix us, to help us. Give me, instead of us trying to do. Just do it for yourself. Like the thing about it is, and then again, it's all about the knowledge that you have or that you seek. If you don't know, really, I just challenge who's ever listening. You know what I'm saying? If you don't really know about the Constitution or whatever, just go get a copy. You know what I'm saying? Go to the library. They hand out little hand copies, you know, some places or whatever. Just commit to reading a section a day or something until you just like read it. But it's important to really know. Then you get out of the mindset of not really wanting to vote, feeling that, you know, your vote don't matter. Oh yeah, just real quick, because I'm gonna have to go in a minute, and I meant to say that about the voting, because a lot of people say our votes don't matter because it's the electoral college. Well, I know that there was, I believe it was an executive order signed, and I believe it was this year, and where the electoral college vote has to match the majority of the popularity vote of the state. So basically, it is. And well, for the areas that, because I know the electoral the college does. I know, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna have it for y'all next week. Because I know it was something or whatever, and I don't want to misspeak. On it, so I'm gonna look it up, and I'm bring, because I still got another show before election, right? Yeah, 2 more shows before election. Oh no, one the night before election. No, the 3rd on the Tuesday. Yeah, so it's 1 show then election, right? Yeah, I know, because I'm going to Vegas. Nah. I'm gonna vote. Y'all know I'm going to go vote the governor out, so I'm going to vote. Trust and believe I'm gonna be in there, because the governor got to go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you should be. Hey, I'm just saying it. Like I said, when you talk about the lesser of 2 evils, what the thing about it is, it's really just an opinion of, hold on, I got some comments right here. It says, I wouldn't be surprised about how people would feel about if I made the media for change to create change. The media is controlled by oppressors. So the media just is propaganda to what they want you to think. Another scary statistic is that there have been over 509 fatal shootings this year as well. That's something they don't even talk about. That's crazy. But see, that's type of statistics make you want to take your guns, which we know that ain't happening. It say, look at California and the young man running against Maxine Waters. He ain't playing. We need more like him. I really don't even look into more of the states, local, other states, local kind of things going on or whatever. But I believe it. Sure, I believe it. But again, I feel like it's just trying to turn us against into like a gang, red versus blue. You know what I'm saying? People, Democrat or Republican and things like that or whatever. When you think about the lesser two evils, I mean, me personally, it's like I don't want to be surprised by evil when I see, if it's an evil I already see. You know what I'm saying? It's an evil that I already did see. I mean, not to say I'm used to this evil, but I know this evil. This other evil is unknown. I don't know what that evil gonna come in and do. This evil already doing enough. Like, I don't know what your evil gonna come in to do. I'm just saying, when you think about lesser of two evils, like that just saying just really gets to me. Like, no, I told you I'm voting for Joe Georgeson. Ain't that her name? Look, ain't that her name? I think it's Joe Georgeson. I think something like, I think it's the Green Party. Yeah, Libertarian or something like that. Yeah, that's Joe Georgeson, 2020. No, I'm just saying, I would never tell no one. I don't tell no one, just like I said, I am telling no one who to vote for. I'm just saying, go vote. You know what I'm saying? Go out to the polls or whatever. Whether you vote for the president or not, at least vote for the governor to get out. Okay, that's all I would have said to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Especially here in Missouri and in any other states, look at your local levels. You know what I'm saying? Get involved in your local officials and make sure you make good choices on those levels, okay? Because and I just want to say my thing, and kind of going back to just where we begin. My thing with Parsons, ain't that his name? Parsons, is that he wants to start trying children at the age of 12 as adults. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just not cool with that. Especially when you looking at these statistics, like I'm thinking 21 needs to be the adult age. No, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? But when you look at these statistics or whatever, it's like he just wants to lock up children. You know, and your life can be ruined, especially in our system, because we know that we are more likely to get a heavier sentence than our counterparts. So we gonna be in there way longer for a crime that, you know, probably didn't really need that much time. You know, so it's like you start locking them at 12, you really ruining these men, because you come back out in society and not really knowing how to adapt, not really knowing what to do. You went in at 12. But okay, that's my spiel for today. That's my I'm gonna leave you guys with the Holy Covenant Asiatic Nation. So ye are the children of one Father, provided for by his care, in the breast of one mother have given ye suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. When you separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother's in adversity, assist him. If thy sister's in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy Father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Peace.
Hey everybody, this is Scatter. You might remember me from way back in the